to see you there. Welcome back to Fanfiction Corner, where we find the juiciest fanfictions ever on the internet. It's been a while, hasn't it? But guess what? Love's in the air. It's close to Valentine's Day, so you know what that means. We gotta find the juiciest love fanfictions. And I think I got one today that'll surpass even Edgar Allan Poe's beautiful poetry. He'll read this and he'll be like, oh, this is some juicy stuff. So let's dive into some Twilight fanfiction. I know what you're thinking. Twilight? Isn't that terrible, overrated vampire werewolf crud? I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. Twilight is a godsend. Now sit tight, because we're going to read some juicy Twilight fanfiction. Let's get this started. Emmett was sitting on the sofa in the Collins' home, telling Renesmee how the Collin family came to be. Her endless curiosity bubbled up, and for once she used words. Words, not her touch. She wanted to know how her parents met and fell in love. Even though she had heard it more than can be counted, then she asked a question that made him grin at the fond memories. How did you and Aunt Rosie meet? The timeless question. How did Emmett and Aunt Rosie meet? Smiling, he looked into her eyes and began the story of when Rosalie and he had first met. Well, you see, Nessie, that's a nickname they give, I forgot her name, Renesmee in the movie. I think it's Jacob who calls her that, and it's really cringy. So sorry. Well, you see, Nessie, we first met in 1934 in Tennessee. I was driving in my old truck when... The vehicle hummed as Emmett drove down a particularly long, winding road. His white shirt clung to his skin, and his jeans were smudged with mud. Sweat was beading on his forehead as the sun beat down on him, and it didn't help that he was itchy from loading all the hay in the back of his truck by hand. Such hard work! He cursed loudly as his truck began to make rumbling sounds. His vehicle broke down, and he coasted to a stop on the side of the road. Slamming his fists hard against the steering wheel, he cursed hotly. Damn it! Sorry, PG-13. Gosh diddly darn. Shoving the door open roughly, he stepped out of the truck onto the dirt road and slammed the door. His slightly curly, dark hair struck to the sides of his sweaty face. Walking to the hood of the truck, he lifted the hood up. Black smoke puffed up. He accidentally placed his hand on the heated engine and pulled it back with a painful hiss. Though he didn't know it yet, his face was now coated black from the smoke. Despite him rubbing bits off onto his forearm, his burnt hand pulsed as he stared at the red skin of his palm. And he still had not delivered the hay. Could it get any worse? Maybe. He could be in a Twilight fanfiction. He tried his best not to hit his burning hand on anything as he took his toolbox out from the back of his truck and placed it in front of his truck. Now, where is that? It's because it's Tennessee, I gotta do a country accent. Forgive me, it's probably gonna be terrible. A faint sound of an engine rumbled as a new, shiny car passed him up. Quickly, he went into the middle of the road and started yelling, "Hi!" Oh God. He waved his arms wildly. "Wait! Please help me!" Oh, that got really bad. That went really bad. He lowered his arm dejectedly. No way that person could have heard him. Suddenly, the car stopped and turned. It was coming back. The car rolled to a stop next to him, and the window rolled down to reveal the most beautiful woman. He was mesmerized by her smooth skin, butterscotch-colored eyes and long, wavy blonde hair. Her mouth was moving, and he realized that she had said something. "Hey buddy, you listening? Do you need some help?" Sheepishly grinning, he stretched his arm back and shook his hair. Yeah, I do. My truck broke down." He gave her a strange look. "I don't think you will know how to fix a truck." Her face soured, and he smiled. "We wouldn't want that pretty face to get dirty now, would we?" I think I can manage," she smirked. "Okay." He smiled again. He stepped back as she opened the door. He held his hand out to help her, but she ignored the gesture and got out herself. She's an independent woman, okay? Alice, she's the most independent woman there is in the film. I'm telling you, grade A independence. He closed the door and faced her. He was suddenly very conscious of how he looked. He probably looked like a mess. He noticed what she was wearing and was a little shocked. She wore a nice blue shirt and pants. A woman wearing pants? Now that was hot. 'Cause you know, women don't wear pants, if you know what I mean. I don't know what I mean. She walked around him and looked under his hood, if you know what I mean. She quickly grabbed the tool out of the toolbox and began to work on his truck. He watched her silently as she worked on the truck. Then she moved away from the truck with a satisfied smirk on her face as she waved for him to try and start his truck. He jumped into his car and turned the key into the ignition. The truck came alive with a loud start. His mouth was slightly open, amazed that she had fixed it. He smiled. He liked it when a girl knew her stuff. He left the vehicle on and got out. Walking up to her, he smiled. "Thank you. You have proven me wrong. I apologize." "You're welcome. I'm glad to have brought you down a notch." He smiled. He's liking this girl more and more. "Yeah, I guess so." She smiled at him. He liked her smile. It fit her better than when she smirked. That's weird. "Well, it was nice meeting you." He held out his hand. "Emmett." She shook his hand. "It was nice to meet you, Emmett. I'm Rosalie." "It was nice to meet you too, Rosalie." She let him help her into his car this time. She gave him a small smile as she started up her car and drove away. Yeah, he really liked that girl. Well, that was the first story of our beautiful journey into this fanfiction land, but we're not done yet. We got one that's way, way worse. Way, way weirder. Let's do this. I laid back in the delivery room after giving birth to a baby girl. I hadn't even seen her yet, but I already loved her with all my heart. My husband, Jacob, the werewolf boy, was at home, probably drunk or something. Oh, you know, dogs, they like to get drunk. Lit. That's why my 4-year-old daughter, Emma, was in the hallway with Alice. Me and Jacob used to love each other until Emma was born. We have put on a show for her, but his threats have gotten worse, and I was planning on divorcing him soon. I do not agree with him using drugs at all, and have drew away from him because of it. A slight knock on the door interrupted my thoughts. Before I could answer, the door was pushed open. A blonde girl with strawberry tint in her hair walked in with a smile and a baby in her arms. "Bella Black?" she asked. I had automatically corrected every doctor who called me Isabella, so they got the hint. "Yes?" I asked. She smiled a warm smile. "Here's your baby. She's very healthy, and you should be fine to leave it here in just a couple hours," she said. handing me the little girl. I smiled down at her. Mackenzie, I whispered. That's a pretty name, the girl who I now remembered as Tanya said. Good old Tanya. Thank you, I murmured, staring into Mackenzie's chocolate brown eyes. They had a sparkle in them, making her seem intelligent, like she was focused on taking in everything. Another knock on the door, and Alice danced in with Emma by her side. Emma had practically been bouncing from excitement at the idea of a baby sister. I looked back at the baby in my arms, who now had her eyes gently closed. She's asleep right now, Emma. Give her a few minutes. Yeah, give her a few minutes, Emma. Chill. You need to relax. Breathe in, breathe out. You'll get to see the little baby in a minute. I whispered as Emma climbed beside me and snuggled in at my side. We laid like that for a while, until Tanya came back and let us leave. Alice drove, and I put Mackenzie in Emma's old baby carrier that I put in about a month ago. I almost screamed at the sight when we pulled in the driveway. Fire trucks, ambulances, and police officers surrounded it. I frantically climbed out of the car and up to the nearest police officer. Excuse me, I asked. The officer turned around. I almost fainted at the sight of him. Bronze, messy hair, and deep green eyes that went on forever. Who are you? He asked, searching my face for any clues. I live here. What's going on? I asked. Who's in the car? He asked. He looked troubled. My friend Alice Brandon and my daughters Emma and Mackenzie Black. What's happening? I asked, getting annoyed. Are you related to Jacob Black? He asked. I nodded. And do you know who a blonde-haired woman named Kate is? Kate! That conniving woman. He asked. Whatever expression on my face must have told him no. We found out that Jacob was high on what seemed to be cocaine. Dang it, the dog always goes into the cocaine patch. He gets high and he burns the house down. The doggy gets mad, goes to Kate. And had invited Kate Denali over for an affair, I assume. I wonder if Kate Denali is like a person. Did you know any drugs that he used? No. I mean, I know he got high sometimes, but I thought he hadn't for a while. I had no idea, I said truthfully. The officer seemed deep in thought as he nodded. And where were you? He asked. At the hospital, I said. A confused expression crossed his face. You seem fine. May I ask why? He asked. I was having a baby, I said. I think having a baby would make you exhausted. I don't think you'd look fine after that, at least for a couple days. But I don't know. I don't give birth to babies. I don't go, boop, there they are. Not yet. A soft expression crossed his face. I take it Jacob Black is the father, he said. I nodded. Not for long. I was planning a divorce. He had been getting drunk and threatening me lately, and I was not going to trust him with a 4-year-old and a newborn, I said. You go, Bella. He nodded. Jacob has let the house catch fire and remained on for 2 days. I don't know what that means. The whole time you were gone. Kate and Jacob both escaped, he said. I nodded. As for the house, I believe you would need to contact insurance, he said, trailing off. I frowned immediately. The house is gone? I whispered. He frowned, truly unhappy. Alice came then. Bella! Mackenzie is upset, she said, looking confused. I nodded. She must be hungry. Alice, I have things to figure out. Can I please stay with you and Jasper? I really hate asking. I said, but you just asked, so you don't hate asking. Bella, stay as long as you like, she said, frowning. I don't know what these voices are for the females. It's not working out. I nodded. Can I give you my number so we can work this out later? I asked the officer. He nodded. You can call me Edward. He's the vampire. He said as I handed him my number. Thanks you, Edward. I appreciate it. I said, climbing back into the car. Forget Jacob. Forget this Kate girl. When I thought my life was bad, it just had to get worse. I felt myself doze off into dreams that made better sense. Well, that was it for the Twilight fanfictions. I hope you enjoyed it, and listen, I know some of us are going to be lonely on this Valentine's. Some of us just got rejected. Some of us may have gotten the friend zone. But don't worry, I'm here with you. I love you all. So have a good Valentine's Day, have some good chocolate, and I'll see you guys next time when we read some juicier fanfictions. Who knows what next? Who knows when I'll upload another one? Time will tell. Maybe. Bye-bye.